Hello and welcome to episode number 34 of the Scottish History Podcast. My name is Owen and this week I'm just going to be doing something nice and quick, nice and easy, as this is my anniversary weekend, so I'm just going to be doing something nice and quick so that you have something to listen to. I'm also going to be releasing as a bonus episode the second part of the collaboration podcast that I did with This'll Do Nicely. So part 2 of that, for those of you, I've had a few of you message me saying that you weren't able to find it as easily. So I am going to send it over, I'm going to post that on the stream so that you can all hear part number 2. So this week I'm going to be running through, it's a picture that I posted on the Scottish History Podcast Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ScotHistoryPod. And the picture I posted a few weeks ago was of the Scottish alphabet. So I'm going to go through that and explain some of the terms sort of from A to Z. There's a couple of them that even I don't know myself, but hopefully I'll be able to explain some of them. So, yep, here we go, the Scottish alphabet. So in most alphabets, we're of course going to be starting with A, the letter A, and under A is I, A-Y-E. I is something that Scots say for yes, so you will always hear that being said. Very similar to elsewhere in the world, where places people there will say, yeah. We say I, which is basically yeah, but rearranged slightly. So I-A-Y-E, if you ever see that written down, it means yes, simply. For B, we have bawbag. Now, bawbag is a funny term in Scotland. We use it to great effect. I suppose you could say it's a bit of a swear word in a way. You're a bawbag is probably the best that it would, the best way in which it would be used. It means quite simply, it's a slang term for I think you might be able to guess. It's a bag of balls. But yeah, this is so awkward. It's unreal. We'll quickly move on from that. So bawbag, B-A-W-B-A-G, bawbag. You can call all of your pals that if you want. C is for canny, C-A-N-N-A-E. Not to be confused with C-A-N-N-Y. That's quite a standard English term, I think, in terms of that version of canny. But canny, C-A-N-N-A-E. Canny means cannot. So instead of saying can't, so for example, I canny call you a bawbag in normal terms would be a good way to say that. So canny basically means cannot. Then we've got D, and under this picture it's dauber, D-O-B-B-E-R. Dauber is another term that you would call someone who's maybe acting a little bit stupid, a little bit silly. Shut up, ya dauber, or something like that would be, the best term. I didn't realise how many of these were not offensive, but slightly daft. in that sort of way. So dauber. I could also throw in one, so for canny as well, for D, you could also have dinny, D-I-N-N-A-E. Dinny means do not. So canny means cannot, dinny means do not. So I dinny ken. So we would also use ken, K-E-N, for no. So dinny ken means I don't know, sort of thing. So under E, we then have Egypt. Egypt is someone who's very stupid. Double E-J-I-T. Egypt. Yeah, you're an Egypt. F, fanny bos. A lot of these are basically just this, are kind of the same. Fanny bos is the same as dauber, which is the same as ball bag, really. Again, maybe not necessarily a nice term, but it's funny. Yeah, you would use it in a sentence as, fanny bos has broken the vase or something like that. G, goni, G-O-N-N-A-E. So goni, goni no day that is a kind of popular Scottish term that was made famous by the guys in that I mentioned in the Sean Connery episode. I mentioned not Still Game, the other one, Chewing the Fat. So kind of, I mean, it's always been around, but there was a sketch that was Goni no day that, and it's basically if someone's being annoying, you would say Goni no day that, which means go and not. So Goni means go and not. So basically, please don't do that. So Goni no call somebody a ball bag on the street is probably some very good advice. H, under H we have haggis. Haggis is of course a foodstuff. I did my address to the haggis in the Rabbie Burns episode. So haggis is basically every part of a sheep that you wouldn't normally use when, after slaughtering, etc. It's all stuffed into the sheep's stomach with some oats and barley, and then you boil it to perfection. It's a delicacy in Scotland. I believe it originated in ancient Greece and many other countries, even still Greece themselves. I think they have a very similar dish to haggis. What does it taste like, though, is a question that I get asked a lot. It tastes like nothing else on earth. It's very heavily spiced, so a lot of what you taste really is the spices rather than meat. You don't really taste much in the ways of any meat in it whatsoever. It's mostly texture. Texture very similar to black pudding or blood pudding, if you've ever had that. And yeah, heavily spiced with nutmeg and black pepper. We would have that with neeps, which is turnips, and tatties, which is mashed potatoes. Next on the list is I for isney. I-S-N-A-E, isney. Isney is not. So like dinny and canny, cannot, do not, and isney is not. That isney haggis. That's black pudding. There you go. J or Jai, J-A-K-E-Y, that would be Jakey. Some people would spell that J-A-K-I-E. I would stick with J-A-K-E-Y. Jakey is an alcoholic, basically. Jakey means, people. So you get jakeyed at the weekend, which means someone who's very drunk. Not necessarily all the time, but it tends to be referred to if you're referring to alcoholics. So again, not necessarily a nice term, but yeah, it's a kind of funny Scottish term. K is keich, K-E-I-C-H, keich. Keich is, for want of a better word, excrement. You get bird keek, you know. A bird is keeked on my head, or a bird is keeked on my head, you know. Yeah. So there you go. L is for laldy, Laldy, laldy. So to gie it laldy, to give it laldy just means really everything. You know, you give it everything that you have, you gie it laldy. Next up is messages, under Messages. I'm sure you know how to spell messages. Messages is not what you think it is. It's not like little notes or a letter, you know, a message. If you go to get the messages, that's going down to the shop to get your groceries, to get your shopping. So your messages are your shopping, or is your shopping, should I say. So that one's always, that's always a good one. Don't necessarily hear it very much anymore, but it is still a term that is around. Under N, then we have numpty, Numpty. Numpty, again, just someone who's a bit silly, bit stupid. You've spilt your haggis all over yourself, you numpty. Yeah, easy that one. Now we have one that even I don't know. Under O is for oos. No idea what that means. They might think, whoever it was that wrote it might think that it's for hoose. So hoose would be with an H, Hoose, or Hoos. Hoose would be a house. But in terms of oos, I've no idea what that is. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. No other Scottish words that I can think of that begin with O. Maybe that's why they just made one up with oos. So we'll move on. P is pish, Pish, pish. To go for a pish. You can probably work it out by that. Pish is the opposite to keek, basically. But something can be pish. So you go and see your favourite band, you go and see the Proclaimers, and the sound is really terrible. The sound last night at the gig was pish. Q is quine. I'm gonna leave that one again because I don't know. I don't know what that one means. And then R and S, as far as I can ascertain, mean exactly the same thing. Under R we have Rammy, Rammy, and then S is for Stushy, Stushie. Rammy and Stushy, as far as certainly when I was younger and I would use those terms, as far as I know, they basically mean the same thing. But maybe a Rammy is more is bigger than a Stushy. So it's to do with fighting. So if you have a Rammy, I'm guessing that would really mean that there was like a big fight, whereas a Stushy is like, you know, kind of a fight over nothing, a very kind of small skirmish as such. So Rammy and Stushy. T is for Tadger, Tadger. Tadger is only men have them, but once again, as with most of with like Bobag, Egypt, you know, Tadger, you can be a Tadger as well. So if you think of another popular sort of insult that begins maybe with a D, and it means the same thing. So Tadger, yeah, a phallus, basically. Under U we have Uch or Uch, UCH. I'm thinking that what that means is it's not necessarily a word, it's more of a noise. So you go like disgusted by something, maybe. I think that's what that one's supposed to be. So like erg, some people say, oh, that kind of thing. So I'm guessing that ush or uch would be what that means. I tend to say whenever I stand up these days because my knees are all sore. But yeah, you stand up, sort of thing. Under V, we have vino, vino. Vino means wine, obviously. But we refer to a different type of wine. We are referring to tonic wine, Buckfast, made down in England, in Devonshire. Tasty stuff. But yeah, so vino would be referring to this red, very caffeinated, quite high in alcoholic content, tonic wine. W then is probably one of my favourite ones, Wheesht. W-H-E-E-S-H-T. Wheesht. So hud your wheesht would be basically shut your mouth. Wheesht doesn't mean mouth, though. It just means, the equivalent of going shushed or shh in a library. So a librarian would tell you to wheesht if you were being too loud in the library. Then under X, it just has in brackets the and then X. I've got no idea what it means unless it refers to ecstasy tablets. Because I'm saying there's a bit of a theme going on with this. Again, a lot of it seems to be either offensive about drinking. So this potentially could have something to do with drugs. I've got no idea what that means. Either that or it's just a text kiss or something. I don't know. Y is for yonks. So yonks ago. So obviously the Scottish History podcast. We could call it the Scottish Yonks Ago podcast. Yonks is for a long time. So I was at school yonks ago. Yeah. And then the last one, Z or Z, would be Zarafakt. Z-A-R-R-A-F-A-K-T. Now again, that's not one that I've come across before, but if you say it fairly quickly, Zarafakt, I'm guessing that it's supposed to mean, is that a fact? But that's the best that I can think of as to what that means. So yeah, there's a couple of them that I don't really know, and I thought this might be funny. It's either going to be funny or it's going to be offensive, but yeah, so to quickly run back through the Scottish alphabet, and I'll post the picture of this on the post for this very quick episode, so that you can see what I'm talking about and you can see them all written down. So basically, the Scottish alphabet, we got A for I, meaning yes. B for bawbag, meaning yeah, a scrotum, basically. C for canny, as in cannot. D for dauber, as in you're a dauber. E for Egypt, you're an Egypt. F for fanny boz, just another daft term that we use. G for goni no day that, go and not, or basically please do not. H for haggis, one of the tastiest dishes anywhere in the world. I for isney, is not. J for jakey, an alky, basically. K for keech, a bird keeking on you. Going to clean up that dog keech. L for laldy, gieing it laldy, having a good time or giving it your all. M for messages. Messages is your shopping, your groceries. N for numpty. You're a numpty. You're a silly boy. O for oos. Again, no idea what that means. P for pish. Yep. The opposite to keech. Q for quine. No idea what that means. R for rammy and S for stushy. They basically have something to do with fighting, one slightly elevated than the other. T for tadger. Phallus, basically. U for I'm guessing that's some form of noise that we make. V for vino, or the Buckfast tonic wine, or just wine as it's called here. W for wheesht, hud your wheesht, shut your mouth, be quiet. X, I guessing that it's got something to do with drugs. Y for yonks. So yonks ago, a long time ago. I've no seen you for yonks. I've not seen you in a long time. And then Z for Zara fact, which I'm guessing means, is that a fact? So that's it for this week, folks. I just, it's only taken me the 20 minutes that this episode is to actually record this one. And virtually no research went into it this week. I will be returning back to proper normal next week, going back, basically picking back up from where we left off the last time with the early settlers. I just wanted to put something new out, and I just kind of randomly had this idea. So if you enjoy it, then fair enough. If not, then you only need to wait another 7 days for a new episode to come out. So there we go, the Scottish alphabet, just a bit of fun. If anybody's taken any offence to this, then it was not intended in that way. But just to keep you informed, once again, the part 2 of the This'll Do Nicely podcast collaboration that I did with those guys is going to be uploaded along with this particular episode as well. So you can go and listen there for the first time, or perhaps even listen to it again. It was great fun to make. I tell the story of Sonny Bean. You also hear about the necropolis as well, and Greyfriars Kirkyard, the Mackenzie poltergeist in Greyfriars Kirkyard. I might end up running through a couple of those stories myself later on as we kind of move along within the podcast world. So folks, if you've not already, head over to Facebook and follow us, as I mentioned before, facebook.com/ScottHistoryPod. You can catch me on Twitter at ScottHistoryPod. There is also Instagram, instagram.com/ScottHistoryPod. And the website is www.scotthistorypod.com. And if for any reason that you feel as though you're really enjoying these podcasts and you want to support the podcast in some way, then please head over to patreon.com, patreon.com/ScottHistoryPod, and you can donate anywhere between £1 and £3 per month to help with the running costs of the podcast and other costs that are incurred to me, so that obviously I can keep these free for everybody to listen to and away from sponsors and stuff like that. So, folks, thank you very much for listening. I will see you again next week.